What is going on, everybody? Back with another knife review. Today I'll be talking about the Buck Alpha. Now, this folding knife has been in my possession for probably over a year now. I just never got around to actually making a review video about it. It's a very, very good knife, and but it, somehow this doesn't really match my style and my preference for knives. And in fact, I really don't know how I even how I even came about buying this knife, but now that I pick it up and I check it out and played around with it a little bit more, I'm kind of starting to like this knife a little bit more. Here it is, and it's got these beautiful wooden scales on here, and this knife is already heavy enough, and you add these wooden scales on here and this thing weighs like a monster. And if you ever need this knife for a impact tool it is very, very heavy duty. I mean, look how thick this thing is along with the scales on there. Ridiculous. In the open position, it is very, very ergonomic. I mean, it's got the perfect finger groove or cutout here. The rest of your fingers kind of nestle in on this nice flat part here, and it just feels nice. Got a very kind of what we call like a slight curve on the spine of the handle here, and your hand just feels very, very nice in here. And same with the reverse grip. Like you see how my thumb just rests right on top. Notice about the Buck Alpha is that it's extremely heavy, especially on the handle side. You can tell I'm holding the knife here just normally, and you notice it's not flipping forward, this way, blade first, because it is, the handle is so heavy that the blade just, the blade looks so thin compared to the rest of the handle. And just to give you an example, here's a SOG Vulcan Tonto. You notice how the blade just wants to fall toward the table because the blade is so much heavier than the handle. The knife is very easy to deploy thanks to the dual thumb studs. You can get to the thumb studs left or right-handed, completely ambidextrous. You can either flick the knife out or just open it slowly, but it's very smooth. Let's have a little bit of blade play left and right, but dead solid up and down, so nothing there. There is jimping on the blade spine here, and it's actually pretty hard cut. This stuff here is pretty useful to holding your thumb from sliding around. There's some jimping on the back part as well. Now this is a little bit more rounded. I don't know if it's there for more decoration or whatever, but there's very, very little traction, at least for me personally, on the jimping on the back here. There's a little hex tool on the back. Okay, you can tell a 550 fits in here just perfectly with plenty of room to spare. You can see there it just glides in and out there. So here you can see the liner lock, and you can tell that not only the blade pretty thin, but the liner lock is very thin in comparison to the rest of the width of the knife here. And but hey, so far I've had no problems with it. You can tell the lock is very very late into the lockup there. There's a bit of jimping on the liner lock, which provides very, very easy access to disengaging the lock, and you can get it with either left or right-handed here. It's very, very simple to do, and you can see how far they made the liner protrude as well past the handle scales. So again, access to the liner lock is not a problem. You can tell that the blade here has a very great design to it, and very simplistic, actually, I'd say. Very nice. I kind of like these kind of grinds where it's just the bevel and that's it. You got a very nice sharp point, pretty good amounts of belly, nice slight curvature from the ricasso to the point there, and it's very sharp. I only own 2 Buck knives, and they both came razor sharp. On this side, you can actually see there's the Pawbo's heat treat stamp on there, so that's very nice. This is a very high quality sheath in my opinion. It feels very lightweight, but it uses this kind of really thick stock of leather. Has a nice snap on there, so it's secure. Whenever you snap it closed, it's definitely secured. It has very, very uniform stitching, so they did a very good job on it. On the back you can see there's a little belt loop here. You put that on your belt. The knife fits in here very securely, so you can either put it this way, and or you can put it the other way. Now, righties will probably have to put it this way, since it's going to be like this on your belt, and you notice how a bit of it protrudes out of this cutout. But don't worry, it actually doesn't come out. I mean, I'm pulling on this thing, and it's really hard to work this around the leather to get it to come flying out. It's a nice sheath, actually, and kind of a nice change from carrying it with the clip on there. You can see here without the scales, it really reminds me of that Spyderco ATR knife. I mean, it's really cool. It's got the skeletonized sections in here, and you can kind of use those for little grips if you need to, if you need a more tactile feel. But overall, the knife is actually really slippery without the wooden grips on there. But I think it makes for a very good looking knife. Really, you can still you know, deploy and close the knife if you want to, either left or right. There of course will be no pocket clip. Obviously, this is why they came with a sheath in the first place. You know, this was not designed with the pocket clip in mind. And you know, even without the wooden scales, even though it is lighter, it is still a pretty hefty knife and beefy feeling knife in the hand. And you know, definitely its presence would be known with or without the scales on there. Okay, so overall, I have to say this is a very nice knife, you know, especially for the price. These wood-handled or wood-scaled versions are a little bit more expensive. There's, I believe, the Kraton version too, which is a lot cheaper actually. And for that, you get this nice heavy knife. I mean, this is a brutally heavy folder, and you can, you know, like I said, you can use it as an impact tool, and of course going hunting. I mean, this would be a perfect knife for that. And it's very handle heavy, so if you want something to be so very secure in your hands, it won't flip out of your hands because of a heavy blade, this would be the knife for you. And being razor sharp out of the box, you know, really is a nice treat. So I would say this is a very good knife. Maybe a little bit too heavy for my own personal taste and everyday carry, but I'm sure there's some of you out there that have a good use for a knife like this. So, all right, well, to conclude this, I want to thank everybody for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.